Welcome to my 14th video in a series about shooting rats with an air gun at a dairy in western Washington state. The obvious theme for our video today is those days when nothing seems to go right. And I think for this guy in the graphic, things are about to go very, very wrong. I wonder what the rat word for incoming would be. For the rest of us who have suffered through a rat infestation, you know that none of those days go right. A rat infestation is a terrible thing to have to try to solve, and a very difficult problem to solve as well. This video does include images of rats being shot and killed with an air gun. So if you are offended by these images, please leave now and find something else to watch. I can make a couple of suggestions of what you might want to watch, and I will leave links in the description for this video. The first is a documentary about the rat infestation problems in Britain and the looming problems that will be caused when the genetic mutation in the rats in England really takes hold. And this genetic mutation is that they are now becoming immune to the poisons commonly used to try to control their populations. Better ways are going to have to be found. The second is a video from the Ted's Holdover YouTube channel, where he discusses the scientific basis behind the rat headshots when the rat subsequently kicks and jumps and bounces all around, looking like he's suffering and in pain, when indeed it's actually a neural, or what we call nerves, reaction to having the brain taken out of the equation. So, let's get on with some rat shooting. This is the gun that I use to shoot the rats. It is a Benjamin Marauder Woodswalker 22 caliber pistol carbine combo made by Crosman. It is a superb weapon for the work that I do, shooting rats mostly close up between 2 and 40 yards, say 5 to 20 yards being the majority of the shots. It is actually a pistol, and when you buy it, it comes with pistol grips. It also comes with the shoulder stock you see attached to it. It is a variation of the Crosman Benjamin Marauder pistol, and I have two of them. I keep one in the pistol configuration and the other, as you see here. The infrared flashlight that I use is the Evolva T67 LED flashlight. It has 3 power settings, and it is adjustable. The beam is adjustable by turning the focus ring behind the bell, which turns the bell and changes it from a broad flood light to a narrow spotlight. It gives a lot of control over the lighting for different situations and to give correct lighting for the video. I have it attached to the air storage tube on the bottom of the Woodswalker using a clip that does a very nice job of holding it in place. I did have to shim at the top where the clip hooks onto the air tube. I used a piece of garden hose cut down, and inside of the clip was a little larger in diameter than the air tube, and it takes care of the spacing problem. It also gives a little softer material between the clip and the air tube, works out just fine. The pistol itself has a 10-inch barrel. Inside the shroud, in front of the barrel, is a suppressor The silences the gun very nicely. The Woods Walker has an 8-shot capability in the magazine, so you can work your way through a group of rats pretty quickly. Typically, when you surprise a group of rats and start shooting, they do kind of a Keystone Cops sort of a bouncing around, running into each other before they decide which way to go. And that's a great opportunity to take out more than one or two. For a sight, I use the Vector Optics Viper Wolf laser sight. The sight works very well. It has a green laser on the right and an infrared laser on the left. And of course, the infrared laser is invisible to the rats, and that's what I use at night. The fact that the lasers are offset above the bore a little bit to each side of the bore is a minor problem with parallax. You quickly adjust to it. It's been a really good sight. It's easy on batteries. Each laser is adjustable for elevation and windage. The laser sight also has a rat tail switch that plugs in on the side, and the switch is on the end of a long cord that I have attached to the handle. I have velcroed to the handle of the flashlight, so that when I'm shooting, I can, once I locate a target and want my sight to come into the picture, I just press on the end of the pressure switch that's attached to the flashlight handle where I'm holding the forearm of the gun, and the laser dot comes on, and it is there as I need it to shoot, and then when I'm done shooting, I can just release the pressure switch and the laser dot goes off. I really do like that in the making of the videos. Behind the laser sight, you can see I have a Sony high definition camcorder mounted. It's the HDR SR11. I also have the HDR SR12, which is a larger hard drive, basically the same camcorder otherwise. And they do have the night shot feature, which enables them to see and record infrared light. The viewfinder on the back, the electronic viewfinder on the back of the camcorder, is critical to my setup here, because when I shoulder the gun, I put my eye up to that electronic viewfinder and I'm looking through it much like a rifle scope, so that I can search around for the rats and aim and shoot. It's a really, really, really good setup for what I'm doing. Yeah, I guess he thought he hid behind the cow, but that didn't work. And here's one who wanted to drink water. He got a drink of lead. This shows the burrowing underneath the foundation of one of the barns. You can see the damage that they do. Population at the dairy exploded into the thousands over a very short period of time, a couple of years. One of the dairy workers told me that when he would walk into a calf barn, for instance, he'd have to clap his hands and stomp his feet to get the rats just to get out of the way. He'd have to kick them out of the way so that he could take care of the calves. The Woods Walker is very accurate and compact, well balanced, easy to handle. Perfect weapon for eliminating the rats in this setting. There he is. Peekaboo. Like a little jack in the box. Yep, here he comes. This is very typical behavior. Once again, shot through the head. Brain is virtually destroyed. The pellet's about half the diameter of the brain. The way it's described in the video provided by Ted's Holdover is that the spinal cord contains neurons and axons that are basically pre-charged with a fight or flight response. And rather than for the brain to have to turn those on, they're already on. The brain is just inhibiting that release of energy, that release of direction to the muscles. When you take the brain out of the equation, all of that stored fight or flight response energy is just released in a very random and chaotic manner, which results in the kicking and jumping and the very vigorous motion that the rats show when they're shot through the head. Here you can see this video was taken in April of 2015, and you can see how badly infested the dairy was with rats. The old tires are used as weights on the plastic on top of the feed bunkers. When they're not in use, they're tossed off to the side and stacked and stored, and they become perfect habitat for the rats. They nest in there. The gestation period for rats is only about 3 weeks, so they don't need a real long time to have a nest. Any temporary structure pretty much does it for them. So just piled up tires or anything like that can provide them with the ability to nest up and multiply, even though that habitat may soon be removed. It's enough for them. And there's that lonesome train in the background. This was about a 30-35 yard shot. And once again, that characteristic jumping, kicking, flopping, tail moving behavior. Oh, there he is. Back inside the walls. My gosh, they go everywhere. But he's not going anywhere ever again. The dairy is a 365-day-a-year operation, milking twice a day, feeding, cleaning. It doesn't stop. And the material and the debris around are all part of the operation of the dairy. You can't stop and deal with a rat problem. You have to deal with it on the fly, as we're doing here. As you can see, very close work around the cattle, being careful always not to injure them. Woods Walker power level is just right also for not having a bad ricochet problem on some of the hard surfaces you see here. There's enough energy to effectively kill the rats, but once a pellet hits a surface, that a lot of that energy is lost, even if it does become a ricochet. That was a hard shot. Animal dies very quickly. Very, very humane way to get rid of these animals. You know, I do have a lot of respect for them. I understand the problems that they cause, but they're a family-oriented species. They are good parents. They're admirable animals in so many ways, but because of the rate that they reproduce and the damage that they do, the diseases they carry, their population does need to be contained. I do believe that the air gun is effectively the best way to do that. Of course, the best way would be to remove the habitat and the food source, because that's what makes everything happen for them. Now this guy, he's going to swim off into the sunset. They are good swimmers, but not when they've been mortally wounded. Thanks for watching. More videos to come.